Hey guys, my name is Softer Sin, otherwise known as Ilyrea at Wolfsbane on Rift. Today I'll be demonstrating a Bard hybrid I created, which is 42 Bard, 24 Nightblade, and 10 Saboteur. This build was designed as a PvE spec to primarily be used in dungeons, but also does fairly well in PvP. Unlike many Bard specs which go full 61, this spec is designed to maximize potential DPS, which comes of course at the loss of some survivability and support. In this tutorial, I will begin by explaining the soul tree for this hybrid and then give a demonstration of single target DPS followed by area of effect DPS. Let us begin by looking at the soul tree. We will first discuss Bard, then Nightblade, followed by Saboteur, and lastly Rogue Mastery. First, let's take a look at the Bard tree. Each point placed in this tree increases damage, healing, and base health by 0.75%. You will begin by putting 5 out of 5 points in deafening music. This will increase the damage of non-physical attacks by 10%. Then, you will put 1 out of 5 points in good health, which will increase your base health by 2%. This will allow us to advance in the soul tree. You will put 1 point in Anthem of Glory, which will increase armor and resistance for all raid members, and you will put 3 out of 3 points in Invigorator's Soul. Again, these are to advance in your soul tree, and they don't play any role in an increased DPS. You will also put 2 out of 2 points in Talented Composer, which will increase the radius of motifs, fanfares, and anthems by 10 meters. This is again to advance in your soul tree and is not necessary to a damage increase. You will put 5 out of 5 points in Street Smart, which will increase damage and healing by 5%. Then, you want to put 1 point in Power Chord, and 3 out of 3 points in Chord of Inspiration. This allows your Power Chord to put an Absorb Shield on your party and raid members for 9% of your attack power. What is important about this skill is that it increases the damage of your next cadence or cadenza by 15%. That will be key in this rotation. You want to put 1 point in Coda of Fury so that you have an AE damage skill. 1 point in Rift, which will auto-generate 5 combo points when used and deal damage. You want to put 1 point in Coda of Restoration and 1 point in Triumphant Spirit, which will just increase healing and give you an AE heal. You will then put 5 out of 5 points in Resonance, which will increase all allies' attributes by 5% if they are affected by your motifs. This lasts 20 seconds. You will then place 3 out of 3 points in Advanced Music Theory, which will give you a 30% damage increase for all Bard attacks. You will then use 1 point in Virtuoso, which will cause combo points to persist when using the coda, which lasts 15 seconds. To advance in the soul tree, you will put 2 out of 2 points in Extended Grief, which will cause your coda debuffs to increase by 100% or for 60 seconds. This can be 1 or 2 points. If you wanted to do 1 point, you could take that hit. However, since this spec is designed for dungeons, you want to have that 60 seconds for bosses. You will then place 5 out of 5 points in Reverberation. This will allow using a coda to cause 20% chance per combo point spent to apply a stacking buff to you, increasing your attack power by 8% per stack for a maximum of 5 stacks, which is essentially a 40% increase in attack power. Lastly, you want to put 1 point in a Harmonic Distortion, which will allow you to have a 5% damage increase, which stacks up to 5 times, which will give you a 25% damage increase. This also allows you to target allies or yourself for a single heal. Next, let us take a look at Nightblade. We will place 24 skill points in Nightblade. Each point spent in Nightblade is a 1% damage increase, resulting in an overall damage increase of 24%. We will begin by placing 5 out of 5 points in Burning Rage. This increases your attack power and weapon damage by 10%. You will then place 5 out of 5 points in Blazing Fury to increase the damage of combo point generating abilities by 10%. This will work for Cadence, Cadenza, and Power Chord. You will then place 4 out of 5 points in Coup de Grace, which will increase the damage of your finishers by 8%. You will then place 3 points in Unstable State to increase the damage of all non-physical attacks by 6%. Then you'll place 3 out of 3 points in Fire and Death Attunement, which reduce the damage you take from Fire and Death attacks by 6% and increase the damage of your attacks by 6%. You will then place 1 out of 2 points in Melted Skin, which will allow your Hellfire Blades and Smoldering Blades buff you for 15 seconds when they proc, increasing your damage by 3%. Lastly, you will place 3 out of 3 points in Heat Retention. This allows each combo point generating ability to cause you to gain a stack of heat retention. Each of these stacks increases damage done by 3%, which can be applied to up to 5 times. When this happens, you gain internal heat, which increases finisher damage by 30%. Next, let us take a look at Saboteur. Each point spent in Sab is a 1% damage increase. We will put 10 points in Sab, resulting in a 10% overall damage increase. You'll begin by putting 5 out of 5 points in Nimble Fingers. This will increase your dexterity by 10%. Then, you will place 5 out of 5 points in Advanced Combat Training, which will increase your attack power and weapon damage by 10%. This is all you will place in Sab. Lastly, we will take a look at the Rogue Mastery. For your level 61 skill, you should use Planner Replenishment. This allows Power Chord to cast all known motifs on use. This will save you from having to put 1 extra skill point in your Bard tree. For your level 62 skill, you want to use Ascended Biology. This increases the range of your non-melee damaging abilities by 5 meters. It also allows Cadenza to benefit from points spent in an Invigorated Soul. Next, for your level 63 skill, you want to use Juke and Run. This allows your damaging combo point generating abilities when in combat to apply a stacking buff, increasing your unmounted movement speed by 3% per stack, maximum of 4 stacks lasting for 15 seconds. For your level 64 skill, you want to use Repetitive Strikes. This causes combo point generating attacks to place a stack of repeated strikes on you, increasing your damage by 2% per stack for a maximum of 3 stacks, lasting 15 seconds. This is a 6% increase overall for 15 seconds. Lastly, for your level 65 skill, you want to use Planner Variation, which channels 22,125 ethereal damage every second for 3 seconds to the target and up to 7 other enemies within 7 meters of the target. Now I will demonstrate a single target damage rotation using this hybrid. We will begin the rotation by using Riff. This will auto-generate 5 combo points. Following this, you will use Coda of Distress, which will increase non-physical damage taken by 7% for a duration based on combo points on the enemy and all nearby enemies. Because we are using 5 combo points, it will last 60 seconds. Then, you will use Power Chord, which will deal damage and award 2 combo points, as well as cast all motifs on use. Then you will use Cadenza, which will award 3 combo points as well as deal damage. Following this, you will use Virtuoso, which will cause combo points to persist when using codas for 15 seconds. Then, you will use Coda of Wrath persistently until your Virtuoso wears out. Following this, you may use Planner Variation. Now, let me demonstrate the rotation. This is a level 65 dummy. As you can see, it does about 50,000 single target damage with the peak at nearly 52,000. This is fairly standard for the single target rotation, which generally does between 40,000 and 52,000 damage per second. Next, I will demonstrate the area of effect rotation. The only difference in this rotation from the single target rotation is that instead of using Coda of Wrath, you will use Coda of Fury. As you could see, in one area of effect rotation, we did nearly 123,000 DPS. This completes our tutorial for the Bard hybrid that is 42 Bard, 24 Nightblade, and 10 Saboteur. For convenience, we can call this the Nightbard.